Campus Law Center, University of Delhi, to the 13th lecture of this prestigious series of Kartavyam, celebrating 75 years of Indian Constitution. I am truly delighted to share that Kartavyam Lecture Series has been conceived as a humble yet powerful initiative to honor the spirit of our Constitution. With every lecture, we have strived to reflect upon the values enshrined in it, that is, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, and to explore how these ideals continue to guide our democracy in the 21st century. This journey of dialogue and reflection has brought together eminent minds from diverse fields, enriching our perspective and inspiring us to shoulder our responsibilities as citizens and as members of the legal fraternity. Carrying forward this journey, today we have among us three distinguished personalities whose knowledge, vision, leadership, and expertise in their respective fields have left a profound mark on academia and public discourse. We are truly honored to welcome Sri Arun Krishnamurthy sir, an Indian environmentalist, social reformer, and globally recognized conservationist who has redefined the way communities perceive their ecological responsibilities. Professor Ghulam Yazdani sir, Dean, Faculty of Law, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. Shri D.C. Raina sir, Senior Advocate and former Advocate General, Jammu and Kashmir. With decades of experience, Sir has held the highest legal position within the government of the Union Territory. It is indeed our privilege to have them with us today. I am certain that their insights will inspire us to think deeply about the Constitution and its contemporary relevance. So, in order to begin the session and to formally invite the guests, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Gunjan Gupta, ma'am, Professor in Charge, Campus Law Center. Ma'am, may I kindly request you to deliver the welcome address?
Ma'am, you are on mute. Please unmute yourself.
A very good evening to everyone gathered here. With immense joy, deep gratitude, and profound sense of purpose, I welcome you all to the 13th lecture in our Kartavyam series. As we continue our collective journey of celebrating 75 years of our Indian Constitution, this series is more than an academic endeavor. It is, in the truth, a living dialogue with the values that sustain our democracy. Each one of you, our esteemed speakers, respected faculty, and dear students, brings with you a unique spark that makes this platform a vibrant crucible of constitutional thought and civic reflection. The idea of Kartavyam, duty, remains timeless. In an age of profound transformation and relentless questioning, it is the duty that binds the right to responsibility and individual inspiration to collective destiny. At this point, it is worth recalling Winston Churchill's word: the price of greatness is responsibility. In constitutional terms, this reminds us that our republic's greatness does not merely rest on rights guaranteed, but on the duties shouldered by its citizens. It is my extreme honor today to welcome distinguished guests whose presence elevates the gathering. Mr. Arun Krishnamurthy, globally renowned environmentalist, whose tireless work reminds us that constitutional values live not only in the courtroom, but also in the soil, the rivers, and the forest of our nation. I welcome you, sir. Professor Ghulam Yajdani, Dean Faculty of Law, Jamia Millia Islamia, a scholar and a leader whose vision continues to guide legal education with clarity and vigor. I welcome you, Professor Gulam. Namaskar. I also welcome in line Mr. D.C. Raina, Senior Advocate, former Advocate General of Jammu and Kashmir, whose wisdom and experience stands as a bridge between constitutional principles and lived realities. I welcome you, sir. And today, in a special way, I wish to acknowledge the presence of Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, the patron of Kartavyam. Welcome, madam. Her guidance and support are not only a source of inspiration, but also a reminder that institutional legacies are built through vision, patience, and care. To all our speakers and dignitaries, your presence strengthens and resolve, and your words will, I am certain, leave an enduring imprint on this discourse. As we begin today's lecture, let it not merely awaken intellectual curiosity, but also deepen our collective resolve to serve, to reflect, and to live the Constitution not to a static text, but as a breathing ethic. Thank you for being here and for carrying forward this evolving legacy of Kartavya. I wish once again all the dignitaries here who have joined online. Thank you so much. Over to you, Prakriti.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those inspiring words and giving us a strong start to today's session. Now, I would like to call Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, ma'am, patron of Kartavyam Lecture Series, to deliver the special address about the idea behind the foundation and vision of Kartavyam. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Prakriti. Good evening, Professor Gulam Yazdani, Mr. D.C. Raina, Mr. Arun Krishnamurthy, Professor Gunjan Gupta, Mr. Yashraj, a very erudite faculty which is present here, and the very keen listeners and participants. We all know India is the birthplace of profound ideology, Vasudev Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya. May all be happy, may all be free from illness and suffering. But how to achieve this? Kartavya ya adhikar? Duty or right? Ladies and gentlemen, the Campus Law Center, University of Delhi inaugurated Kartavyam Lecture Series on April 22, 2025 to celebrate 75 glorious years of the Constitution, which has already been told to you by our professor in charge. The series aspires to inspire a profound shift in public consciousness, transitioning from a right centric discourse to duty centric discourse. After independence, B.R. Ambedkar no doubt structured our constitution on a rights with restrictions model, guaranteeing fundamental rights while ensuring citizens were duty bound to exercise them reasonably. Even before fundamental duties were formally incorporated into Part 4A of the Constitution in 1976, the notion of duty was always implicit in Part 3 through its horizontal effect. For example, if you look at Article 15, which imposes a duty on all individuals not to discriminate based on race, caste, sex, place of birth, etc. Article 17 is mandating the abolition of untouchability in any form. Article 23, 24 prohibit and criminalize human trafficking, forced labor, and child labor. Even the preamble to our constitution is a solemn resolution made by we, the people of India, carrying implied duties that every citizen must uphold. Now we see that despite adopting a right based developmental approach, our constitution makers did not abandon India's rich ideological heritage of duty and dharma. The ancient Indian civilization has thrived on the principles of dharma, that is duty, and karma, that is action. The Vedas and Upanishads, they emphasize the universality of divine truth, the sanctity of life, strict adherence to righteousness, what we normally refer to as sadachar. They highlight selflessness towards those in suffering, and the Manav Dharma Shastras prescribe moral duties towards hungry, poor, sick, distressed, and so on so forth. The Indian tradition does not perceive human rights as freedoms against the state, but rather as an intrinsic responsibility of both the state and the individuals to uphold the dignity and well-being of society. There's no doubt that a culture that emphasizes fundamental duties, director principles of state policies, alongside the fundamental rights, encourage law abiding behavior. They encourage mutual respect amongst communities and greater participation in democratic processes. Such an approach complements the right based framework of the Constitution by promoting a balanced and a responsible citizenship. But even today, if you look at our constitution, the fundamental duties and the directive principles of state policy, they are neither enforceable nor justiciable in the constitution. But the courts have enforced them through judgments. For example, series of MC Mehta cases that you look at, where the courts have interpreted Article 51 AG, mandating duty to protect environment as binding on state actions. And not only judiciary, on over the decades you can see that India has introduced so many laws aimed at protecting national honor, preserving the environment, safeguarding cultural heritage, promoting gender dignity, advancing education, and protecting public property. Just to name a few legislations: Environment Protection Act, Biological Diversity Act, Prevention of Damage of Public Property Act, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Right to Education Act, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to list them all. Kartavyam represents a meaningful step towards fostering civic awareness and cultivating a culture of accountable citizenship. Kartavyam has already been told to you, it is not just a lecture series. It's an unprecedented platform where courtroom legends, academia, eminent jurists, leading legal minds, so many universities of the country, they all converge and explore and redefine constitutional thought. In the last 12 lectures, today being the 13th one, we have the Kartavyam has tried to connect duties to society beyond law. It has expanded into discussions like human rights and women empowerment, which highlighted the duties in ensuring equality and dignity, child protection and law enforcement, duties towards vulnerable sections, dharma and jurisprudence, scholarly perspectives on how dharma is the moral and jurisprudential core of Kartavya, academic disciplines, insights from history, other fields showing how duty performance shapes knowledge in society. We've not stopped here. Geopolitics and civic awareness need to recognize and resist insidious foreign influences, duties of citizens in safeguarding sovereignty. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you all to be a part of this series, part of this noble cause, part of this nationalist feeling, part of a nationalist sentiment, a nationalist revolution that we all should become a part to. Be convinced, there has to be conviction first, which has to come to our minds, that if kartavya is performed, if duties are done, rights will be minimized. I can lay a bet on that. I would not like to, leave this forum without thanking our patron in chief, Professor Yogesh Singh, who mooted this idea before us, and Professor Seema Singh, who's actually the backbone of this program, and Shantanu, my dear student, who's a warrior, I would call, who has fought all challenges to make this program a very, very successful series. The willing participation of all the speakers, audience, is testimony to the fact that change from rights to duties is a progressive mandate today. I say that with conviction, that it is change from rights to duties is a progressive mandate today. India cannot progress, and it really cannot become the biggest first economy unless and until we look at our own Indian traditions and talk of duty, talk of kartavya, and not simply saying, Sada hak ethe rakh. हक रखा जाएगा तभी जब ड्यूटी परफॉर्म करेंगे आप। कर्तव्य है तो सब कुछ है, तभी अधिकार अपने आप ही मिल जाते हैं। With this, I say thank you to all of you. God bless you all, and I would not take much time because you must be keenly waiting for the speakers to speak. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for those enlightening words and emphasizing upon the concept of right and duties and helping us to better understand the broader vision of Kartavyam. Now we move towards the most awaited part of today's event, the lecture by our honorable speakers. Our first distinguished speaker is Sri Arun Krishnamurthy sir. Sir is the founder of internationally recognized organization Environmentalist Foundation of India, a volunteer-driven non-profit organization dedicated to restoring fresh water bodies and reviving ecosystems. EFI has restored 460 plus water bodies as of 2025. Other than this, some of his key initiatives are Green Gramam, Eco-Friendly Village Development Program, Samudra, Coastal and Beach Conservation Program, Biodiversity Surveys, Stray Animal Care, Awareness Campaigns, etc. Sir has received several awards like Rolex Award for Enterprise, Times Magazine Next Generation Leader, recognition in Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat, and many more. Sir, it is our privilege to have you here with us today. May I kindly request you to address the gathering, please?
Namaste. It's an absolute pleasure to be here in this lecture series amid such dignitaries. Thanks to the organizers for having invited me. To all the listeners, I'm glad that on a Sunday evening that so many of you have joined. My name is Arun Krishnamurthy. I run the Environmentalist Foundation of India, EFI. We're a wildlife conservation habitat restoration group. I come from a typical middle class Indian family, just like all of you, where our families teach us on patriotism. They teach us a lot about value system. They always try to teach us about how to switch off lights, save water, not throw garbage, a lot of things that they teach within the home. But the minute we step out of our homes, where does civic sense go? Why is our country being treated like this by fellow citizens? Is a pain that every single one of you have, which I also have had for many, many years. And I couldn't turn my attention towards traffic, or I couldn't turn my attention towards people urinating in public or defecating in public, or people doing a lot of other uncivic, uncouth things just out there in open society. What rather troubled me, disturbed me, was nature abuse. Take into consideration lakes, ponds, or any kind of natural habitat in and around us. Masuri to here in Tamil Nadu, Uti, Ganga to Kaveri. There is only one story that India has because of fellow Indians, which is pollution when it comes to nature and pollution when it comes to natural habitats. Many lives get affected because of this. Forget the human part of the story, come into consideration from the gharial to the elephant to the great Indian bustard to the lion to the tiger to many trees and shrubs. The kind of damage that we've been doing is something which pains me, and that's why we started EFI, a result oriented real time conservation group. Because when I was a student, I'm 38 now, but when I was a student way back 20 years ago and all, we were still talking about plastic waste, global warming, climate change. And honestly, if you ask me what has changed in the last 20 years, we have only gone digital tech one step further to talk about climate change. When I was in college, they used to show us Microsoft PowerPoint slides about climate change. When you're in college, maybe they're showing you an AI powered video with some fantastic music. And we're still talking about climate change. We're still talking about global warming. We're still talking about plastic waste. We're still talking about how nature damage is happening every single day by every single human being out there. And in the last 20 years, the kind of damage that we've been through. When I was 18, 19, 20, air was much cleaner, water was much more cleaner. We were eating a lot more cleaner produce. And professors, some of them who are older than me, would agree that when they were much younger, how things used to be. Summers used to be definitely hot, but the summer rains and the mangoes that we used to enjoy. These days, it's very, very difficult to even get mangoes once in 2 years. And even if you get mangoes, are they actually chemical-free mangoes? What about our brinjal? What about our tomato? These are things that all of you have in your head. 2010, I moved into Delhi to study at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. The Delhi metro and then the Delhi urban landscape, for anybody who comes from outside of Delhi, it's huge. It's huge. And the first day you're in awe, such a big city, so many people, the metro moving from one place to another. I used to live in a place called Kaushambi, next to the Yashoda Super Speciality Hospital. From there, I walk towards Anand Vihar and take the metro, go to Rajiv Chowk. From there, Rajiv Chowk, take the yellow line, go to horse cars. From there, take an auto. You will not believe me, the first 2 days I was very thrilled because I was going in an AC train and I was in national capital. I was stone's throw away from the prime minister. The president of India lives there, and national capital, that pride was running deep within me. And things like this really fascinated me first 2 days. The third day onwards is when I realized that I'm asthmatic. Yes. The third day onwards, I was finding it very, very difficult to breathe. And let me tell you that 15 months that I lived in Delhi, I got dengue fever once, typhoid once, and my body went through a complete chaos. My health plummeted. I had a question as to why this was happening. Then we went around trying to find out, not very far from the Supreme Court. Yes, not very far from the Supreme Court, at the Yamuna, just under the bridge, which crosses from Delhi ITO towards Lakshmi Nagar and more. There are elephants that are being bathed in that river. And my friend said, communication students, we wanted to make documentaries. This is the same line as the Rajghat and more, where the father of the nation has been put to rest. He's there. And then the Yamuna was nothing but sewage, absolute sewage. Yes, elephants that are brought out in the streets of Delhi to beg and more. Those elephants have a habitat like small little shanty under these bridges, and these elephants are drinking the sewage. And you'll see there are people in that river every day collecting iron rods or some coins or anything that they're able to get from the river, which they sell out elsewhere. This is happening 10 kilometers away from the seat of administration, which rules this country. This is happening from a few kilometers away from the Supreme Court, which is technically upholding all values and trying to somehow align this country legally. Yes, that really shattered my beliefs. But I've not given up in India, because that's the beauty of this country. Democracy here gives us an opportunity to actually be on course correction, to do something. You step out on the road. Yeah, whoever be in power, BJP, Congress, ADMK, DMK, it doesn't matter. You step out on the road today and you ask people, what is your opinion on the government? What is your opinion on judiciary? Nobody has a rightful, correct opinion, simply because there's no rightful, correct information available with people. Why are we driving on the wrong side of the road? Why are we spitting on the streets? Why are we urinating? That too, only 99% men. Women don't, yes? Why are men urinating out in the streets? Why are we dumping so much garbage into our lakes, rivers, and more? I'm a strong believer of my religion, okay? And I'm telling you this because my religion somewhere taught me to live in harmony with nature. But a week ago, I was really disturbed when plaster of Paris idols were thrown into the river in the name of my religion, which I don't approve. I still did celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi. I celebrated it the right way. But in this democracy, I don't have a voice where I'm not able to go tell people, because it simply becomes religion versus religion, which is not what we are trying to get at. We're simply trying to get at, we have to do the right thing. Why are we dumping so much waste, non-degradable waste, contaminating waste out in our lakes, ponds, rivers, and more? My journey of exploring India, trying to protect lakes and ponds, has not ended at all. Every time I go to a place like this, it only gets added on with more motivation and strength that we have to do something. The day I talk about Ganesh Visarjan, somebody would ask me, did you talk to the other religion about them chopping goats in the street? Did you talk to this religion about balloons being floated into the air? In the name of religion, anybody who's doing anything against nature has to be questioned, has to be stopped. If that's going to take a violent turn, then this democracy is slipping away. Voice of opinion, rightful opinion, logical opinions definitely need to have a space. And that can happen only from the youth. And I will tell you why the youth of this country definitely need to wake up to all of this. I'm nobody, I'm not very old, neither am I going to advise any of you. It thoroughly pains me. We get a lot of requests. I'm studying law, I'm studying biotech, I'm studying engineering, I want to do internship. And what is the internship that everybody wants to do? They all want to sit inside an office and to draft blogs or policies or something. Everybody already knows everything. Oh, we have to plug this sewage. We have to, somebody has to go onto the field. See, without the farmer stepping into the field and sowing that seed, watering that crop, and harvesting at the right time, you and I are not going to be able to eat. We can go on to any of these AI platforms and type, show me maize production or wheat production videos. Those videos will come, but that's not going to translate into food. Somehow, what India's strength has always been, let me remind you, we've been a self-reliant society. They can make us feel this little by adding whatever tax they want, by actually telling us that we are uncouth, we are this, we are that. But let me tell you, we as a civilization have survived several onslaughts. That's not because of something great. That's very simple. In our culture, in our tradition, they always have told us, be grounded, stay modest, and help each other. We live as a community and a society. You're not a one man, one woman heroism show. Yes, that's exactly why India and India's youth have to look at the value systems that our forefathers and foremothers have left us with. Don't fall prey, victim for these movies or these political dialogues from whichever front it comes. A single man, single woman can't do anything alone. A system can only do things. And when I say a system, whether it's judiciary, whether it's politics, whether it's science, whether it's youth together for nature conservation, today you take, for example, there was a beach cleanup in Mumbai at Juhu. A movie star, the Honorable CM's wife, everybody's there. Okay, good that all these citizens stepped out. Ask them a simple question. How much garbage did you actually collect? Or was it a photo op? We are not here to find fault. We are here to actually make a reality check. Do we need celebrities to come out for these cleanups? If you are organizing a cleanup on Swachh Bharat Divas, should it be 1,000 photographs and 100 grams of waste? Or should it be 1,000 kilograms of waste and 2 photographs to show what work you've done? Right under the Yamunotri glacier, at the Yamunotri shrine, there is garbage. There are clothes, there is thermocol, there is plastic. And if you're wondering, Arun, why again are you going to only to say one religion? I will give you every religious congregation, wherever it is, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, whatever. Wherever there are human beings in large numbers, there is garbage. And there can't be two bigger platforms than religion and government to actually unite people. If you're a strong believer of a faith, trust me, go to these Babas or anybody who the saints or whichever nomenclature that we go by in these religions. Ask them to talk about nature conservation. That's what I'm trying to do. Any politician you meet, any retired judges, any lawyers, please don't ask them to give us gyan on how to save the planet. The only way to save the planet is if we all behave. And we have to think about 3 W's: waste, water, and wildlife. How much waste did I generate in a single day? How much water did I waste? What was the quality of water that came into my house? What is the quality of the water that left my house? Wildlife. I should definitely know about what kind of lives that I share this planet with. You and I belong to a country where you have snow leopard, clouded leopard, Deccan leopard. We have the Asiatic wild ass. We have the great Indian bustard. We have the Amur falcon. We have the great hornbill. We have the Hulok gibbon, which is our only ape. We have the golden langur. We have the Nilgiri macaque. We have so many lives. From a sea cow, which is the dugong, to a sea turtle, dolphin, sharks, whales, elephants, rhinoceros. Think about the different mountain ranges from the Himalayas to the Aravalli, which is the oldest tabletop mountain, to the Vindhyas that doesn't let the Ganges flow south, to the Western Ghats, to the Eastern Ghats, to the beautiful northeastern segments of our country. Whatever is happening in Uttarakhand, Himachal, or Northeast is happening because all of us want expressways to reach Simla, Nainital, Dehradun in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. What are we going to do by reaching there in 2, 3, 4 hours? Tell me. We're only going to dump more garbage. And this is not an anti-development rant. We need development. How India was able to survive? India was able to survive because India was a sustainably developing economy. And that's what we all should push for. That's what we all should ask for. And that not through protest and agitation, through simple dialogues, through known networks, somehow getting this message of, look, let's please curtail. And for once, let's look at Viksit Bharat is a phenomenal concept. Make in India is a phenomenal concept. Can we actually get our government to understand through judiciary, to platforms such as yours, where we somehow have a dialogue with our government? 2047 target should be that there should be states like Sikkim, Kerala, a few pockets of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, etc., where we should definitely do only organic farming. It is very much possible because communities are already doing it. Let us have no mining. Let us declare these reserves. Let us actually take into consideration a large section of Run of Kutch, which is the salt desert, and declare it only for the Great Indian Bustard, the Asiatic wild ass. The Western Ghats, let the temple, let the church, let the mosque, let anybody come in the way. Nothing doing. This is India. This is democracy. Logical, scientific methods only, and religion next. And if somebody is trying to add the caste tag, definite equality, equity, nobody is denying any of it. In the name of a caste tag, don't encroach. In the name of a caste tag, don't actually do something which is illegal. Let's all take what is available from India, but not in the shadow of, I speak this language, I'm a follower of this religion, I know this politician, I can get away with this crime. Not on those lines. Because today you and I cannot directly go to the Yamuna either in Delhi, even at Yamunotri. You can't even drink water from a glacier fed river such as the Yamuna. Whatever happens at Hoskas, beautiful fort. If one of the youth here wants to go swim there, yes, no obscenity, no vulgarity, just to go swim on a hot Delhi day, you can't because that water is really dirty. And just think about how we're being denied so much. From gooseberry to mango to so many different fruits that we're losing over time. The fact that India is being turned into a garbage bin of 140 crore people is a sad story. And the option is not to leave this country to go sit in Germany, America, and then talk about, oh, great Indian culture, oh, glorious Indian past, and then blame the country sitting somewhere else. It's not the option. To be here, not to fight, not to protest, but go by democratic values, pass on an optimistic, positive message of together towards tomorrow. That's what we should do, and that's what our constitution teaches. We all have a responsibility, and we cannot shy away from our responsibility. And our responsibility cannot be happening only at a certain age, only for a certificate, or only for a LinkedIn post, which is going to go read 2 pages long. Today, I had the great privilege of being with this environmentalist when we were there. I did this for rubbish. What are we going to get? I'll tell you what and why India fascinates me. India was never trapped into this PR mechanism of certified or validation is something which Indians never sought until a few years ago. Today, sitting in the same house, husband and wife wish each other for birthday only digitally. Yeah. We used to go fall on our grandparents' feet. They used to give us 10 rupees. With that 10 rupees, we used to buy the world of sweets and we used to eat it over 10 days. Today, push of a button, we get so much that the Kaju Katli, the Mysore Pak, everything has lost its sheen. Yes, we don't even eat good food anymore. We don't have good family time anymore. We don't have a good social gathering anymore. Everything is for a validation digitally. It's not a crime, but I have a problem with it. I really have a problem. It sickens me that we're not seeing the real true India. Try doing this for the next 1 week. Don't update anybody digitally on anything that you're doing, but explore deep within as to why you are chosen to be born in this country. That's what I feel. I feel a spiritual connect. Despite all the rubbish and the nonsense that's been happening here in the name of human greed over the several hundred years. People from outside came and looted. People from within backstabbed us. People from within are looting. This country still holds good. Just look around us, the kind of turmoil that's happening everywhere else. How is this country able to hold? It's because this country is spiritually blessed. I honestly believe in that. You mock me for whatever reason. Yes, if you and I have food, we have a roof on top of our head, and if we are still able to hold values and do certain things, it's because genetically we've been given certain value system, which is to respect the planet. The day we respect the planet, everything is going to fall in line. That should be the message for every single young participant. And I humbly request every single one of you, don't spread any negativity. Don't fall for any digital misinformation. Think, explore for yourself, somehow experience everything for real, and thereafter evolve. That is exactly why we are one of the oldest civilizations which still date, survives, and whether it inspires others or not, I don't care. If you're born in India, you're a chosen one. Be grateful for that. I consider that a big boon and a great blessing for me myself. That's why I will continue until my last breath to do everything for India and her environment. I humbly request every single one of you to take pride in the fact that you and I are Indians with a responsibility towards India and her environment, and we do something for this country because we call her mother and home. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Your thoughts were truly enlightening, and we appreciate the passion and dedication that you bring to your work. I'm sure that your views will not just compel us to think about the environmental issues, but also inspire us to take positive actions towards it. Now it is the time to invite our second guest speaker, Shri D.C. Raina sir, who had been appointed as the first Advocate General of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Sir has legal career spanning close to 45 years and has built extensive experience across constitutional, service, civil, and taxation laws. Sir has served as a legal advisor to prominent institutions such as Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board, Jammu and Kashmir Public Service Commission, and Jammu and Kashmir Selection Board, and has represented the state in major matters before High Courts and Supreme Court, including cases on Article 370 as well as issues involving NEET student disputes. So, may I kindly request you to enlighten us with your views?
Thank you very much. I am deeply indebted to have me on this platform where I find that outstanding personalities, distinguished jurists, you see, and environmentalists, we are there. I have heard Shri Arun Krishnamurti ji, very enlightening lecture. I have heard Madam Dr. Gunjan Gupta and of course Madam Dr. Alka Chawla. They have really set the ball in motion. Today, I'll be just trying to express my views on one single word, which has a great significance in day-to-day life, that is the ethical values, ethics, and its relevance. Friends, the term ethic is a widest term with the widest amplitude. It has a foundation in universal philosophies, in many religions, and in many areas which not only deal with the religion or philosophy, like scientific area and all that. So the term ethics owes its origin to word ethos, taken from Greek word. So that means the morality, the standards, the judging of the morality level of the society. And the term is so wide, so I thought that I must confine it to two areas. One is the concept of ethics in the Indian philosophy, and its relevance in the legal field. So far as its legal field is concerned, I'll be just dealing a little later. What I feel is that is deeply rooted in our very revered scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Jain philosophy, Buddhist philosophy. And when I find from that, without ethics, the society is meaningless. The way of life is meaningless. So therefore, when we take it in that sense of matter, it says judging the standards, conduct and moral and fair judgments which carries the moral to the society. Now, so far as this Upanishad, Vedas and other scriptures are concerned, so I'll start with Bhagavad Gita. As was hearing, Madam Alka Chawla, she used word Kartavyam. And the Kartavyam word, when we take to our Bhagavad Gita, it has two terms like Dharma and Karma. Dharma means duty, Karma means action. And when duty and actions are coupled with ethics, then the society emerges as a very noble society. And we know we have Mimamsa laws of interpretation. The word dharma is further explained like upholding moral obligations and responsibilities, ensuring individuals act according to their role in society. Ahimsa, promoting non-violence and avoiding harm to all living beings, as Dr. Arun Krishnamurthy was trying to explain. That truthfulness, encouraging honesty, integrity, and words in actions. Then non-stealing, avoiding unfair or dishonest means of acquisition and respecting others' property. Self-discipline. It's a control over one's desires, emotions to make wise decisions. Compassion, showing sympathy and kindness toward others, particularly to those in need. Tolerance, those diverse perspectives and beliefs, fostering harmonious coexistence. Fairness, ensuring justice and equity in decision-making process. Accountability, very fine term, that means you are accountable to yourself and taking responsibility for the action we do it. Then Mimamsa further takes us Samarjasya, reconciling conflicting texts, harmonizing, promoting consistency and coherence. Vikalpa, adopting interpretation that align with the equity and uses and societal well-being. Shruti, prioritizing textual fidelity while considering the intent and essence of the contract. Friends, when we take all these things, I am just reminded, see, Bhagavad Gita, as we know, has 18 chapters, 700 shlokas. If somebody asks, then can you confine it to words? I say, dharma and action. That is the Lord Krishna. Duty and action, that Lord Rama. And when we see all these things in the context of ethics, I'll just like to quote one very famous example when Adi Shankaracharya was propounding and explaining Advaitva, non-duality. So he was in search, he meets Mandar Mishra, a great scholar who believed in rituals and other philosophy. Then there was a discourse between them which went for a number of days. The question arose, who will be judged to take a decision? See, the ethical values. Abhay Bharti, wife of that great scholar Mandar Mishra, was made the judge. And after the discourse was over, see the value of ethics and fairness, honesty, the judgment went in favor of Adi Shankaracharya. That is the level where the justice, fairness, equity had the deepest foundations in our culture, in Vedas, Upanishads, and other scriptures. Similarly, when we find Lord Rama just obeying the command of father Raja Dashrath and goes for 15 years exile, Then his brother, Bharata, he refuses to take the kingdom, and he acts on behalf of Rama. And so many other examples are there where we find that equity has a very deep rooted foundation in the Indian society, maybe the constitution, maybe the environment laws, maybe the other laws, but equity has its place. For example, I'll take you to contemporary developments. Now, as Arun Krishnamurti ji was explaining, now I say the term ethic is not confined to these religious scriptures or philosophy. It's a diversified field and has a proliferation to take to applied ethics. Now, applied ethics is a term which is referable as in today. Now, these applied ethics deal with technological, medical, environmental challenges. Just we have heard. New fields emerge like bioethics, legal ethics, business ethics, AI ethics, environmental ethics. And then, above all, we have global ethics. When we talk about global ethics, then we go for the modern discussions on human rights, global justice, sustainability, reflecting the interconnected societies, good behavior, good judgments, fairness. And in that sense of the matter, from all these traditions, like in Dharma in India, virtue in Greece, and to modern frameworks like utilitarianism and Kantian duty, ethics remain the central force. It remains the central pivotal point and guides the societies, guides the nations. And this is how the society grows. So the word ethics, when we take it to any field, it gives us the standard to judge a society or a civilization or a group of persons or institutions. And similarly, when we take it to the other facet which I have just now told, that one is the ethical values in India as per our religion, and the other ethical values are the values in the legal profession. Now, law is a subject. Nobody on the earth can claim he knows law. But when we give a respect to somebody, we term is a lawyer. Lawyer means a person who knows the law. There's a kind of respect. And when somebody argues a case or put forth a brief or takes up the cause of a client, we call him an advocate. Now, we need to appreciate one thing. Doing justice is the job of the God. When it's delegated to human being, it comes to legal profession. In the legal profession, we have judges, we have lawyers, we have clients, we have the system. And within all these things, what is more important is the ethics. Now, legal ethics means the ethics which a lawyer is supposed to observe towards the client, towards the court, towards the justice. And while doing so, he is subject to many restrictions and many discipline so as to ensure that the system of justice law is not polluted. Now, therefore, in the legal profession, in my understanding, with more than 50 years of experience, legal ethics has a great relevance, and that's what the faith and trust still with the judiciary. The lawyers are respected a lot, but at the same time, maybe the judiciary or the lawyer, they are supposed to adhere to strict discipline of ethics. Now, ethics is a bundle of rules. You have to wear a uniform. You have to be respectful to the court. You have to espouse the cause of your client to the best. At the same time, you have to fair to the court also, and to assist in the strong foundation of law, so that for times to come, the system survives. We have age 70 years, 80 years, or people go to 90 years. But just see one thing. A lawyer who contributes in the legal profession in the form of a argument which gets translated into a judgment. The judgment gets reported. It becomes a part of the history. We even quote judgments of 1950, 1960, and out of those judgments, we just find that the judge has really understood the core of actual justice, real justice. And the law has its, a field even relevant today. Therefore, the lawyer who contribute, they live for ages together because their names remain in the books, their arguments remain in the books, and they make the society strong. But at the same time, the lawyer has ethical duty. Ethical duty means what? That whatever clients tell, we have not to share with anybody else. We have to propound in the court. We cannot have cases, simultaneous cases of two persons at a time with a conflicting interest. We have a duty towards the judicial system also. And when we all observe all these things, there are limits also. You have found that there's section 36 under the Advocates Act. It talks about two words. One is conduct, other is misconduct. Between conduct and misconduct, there stands ethics. If the lawyer follows the law properly, assists the court properly, does justice to his client, he is remembered all the times. If the lawyer misbehaves in the court, he doesn't assist the court, then he faces the chance of misconduct, as I've said, section 36. I'll quote one very interesting example. What is the level of ethics? In 1934, when it was a Rangoon High Court, a lawyer filed an income tax return. The same was not found to be in tune with the parameters of the income tax. And he was called upon to explain that. He tried to explain, but could not explain. And as per the Income Tax Act, he was imposed some penalty. The moment it came to know, it came to the notice of the court and fellow colleagues, there's an application against him that is misconducted because he didn't tell the truth to the income tax department. And he was held guilty for that. That's one example. Now, the lawyer's wisdom, knowledge, I'll tell you one more example. I was going through a book compiled by K.L. Ghaba in Lahore High Court. A lawyer parked his vehicle where the judges would park. The Chief Justice told him not to park there. He again parked it there. Then he was warned not to park there. He again parked there. Then there was a contempt notice against him. So he filed appeal instead of replying. And he said that the place which I am being restrained from parking the car is not identified under the Public Premises Act for parking. When the matter came before the division bench, the single judge had to concede because ethically he was wrong. And that is the level which makes this foundation strong. Friends, integrity, honesty, independence are the jewels which in the realm of ethics a lawyer is supposed to have. Similarly, it is not that you pick up a case and argue the case, come back and you say you are a good lawyer. No. Ethics say, as I had the great privilege of hearing Mr. Arun Krishnamurthy, he was talking about the environment and very nicely he explained that. I say pro bono, like we have floods now in J&K, in Himachal, in Uttarakhand and else part of the country. Now everybody, each one among us is required to take notes of this. Wherever we find that the public at large or the victims are not being taken care, it's a duty of the lawyer to take to the court and to see that the interests of justice are served. So therefore, a lawyer is required to be pro bono activist also. Similarly, now the technology has changed. We are talking on VC. We are expanding it. So therefore, in this field also, there are ethics. What should be put on the video, what should not be, what content is good, what content is bad. When it comes, on what basis it is tested? It is tested on the basis of the ethics in the society. As we know it, that chapter 3rd of the Indian Constitution does talk about the fundamental rights. Article 51 does talk about the fundamental duties. But between rights and the duties, between dharma and the karma, between the see duty and the action, the ethics plays a very important role. Now, ethics is not confined to the books or the society. It is applicable in a home, in a family, in relations, in society. And that is the hallmark of recognition of a society when it observes, when it follows ethical values. Because the topic is so great, so wide, its amplitude, see, amplification is so large that it can't be confined within, the allotted time. But these were my views that ethic is an integral part of one's life in a civilized society. Ethic is one core thread which we cannot leave for a minute in society. Ethic is a heartthrob. Ethic is a standard. Ethic is an indicator between good and bad. And therefore, with all respect, I say that what I thought ethical values, it was a point which was favorable to me, and I thought I must share my views on this. So, by saying all this, I will only conclude that it has evolved from time to time. It will continue to evolve in its widest manifestation. Its applicability, its value, its relevance will continue to guide us for all times to come. We must imbibe within ourselves the self-discipline coupled with ethics, morality, integrity, so that the great country like India, Bharat, becomes, you see, a Vishwa Guru in times to come. With this, I thank all, see, for giving me the time. It's a privilege to be part of this forum, and I hope to contribute in future as well. And it's a learning experience for me also. No doubt, you see, with on legal side, the field is different, but being and amongst these great scholars is a really privilege. I once again thank each and everybody who has joined through VC Link and those great distinguished participants. We have Professor Gulam Yazdani ji, Professor Yogesh Singh ji. We have to hear them. Madam Seema, I didn't see her here today. Professor Dr. Raman Mittal ji, and my regard to each and everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Your views were truly engaging and enlightening. We are truly grateful for the efforts that you have taken to guide us through the concept of ethics from Vedas to contemporary times, and especially the professional ethics that we require in the field of law. Now we have Professor Dr. Ghulam Yazdani sir, Dean, Faculty of Law, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. Sir specializes in personal law, human rights, environmental law, Islamic and Hindu jurisprudence. Sir has authored chapters in multiple books and over 60 plus research papers and articles in reputable national and international journals. Notably, one of his papers on international human rights law on women was published in the Yearbook of Human Rights. Sir is also serving as an academic advisor for the Indian Journal of Law and Public Policy. May I kindly request Sir to address the session.
Thank you, Pragati. Thank you for inviting me and Respected, first of all, I must salute to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Delhi University, Professor Yogesh Singh, who in fact gave this idea of Kartavyam. Uh, this is a beautiful series of lectures that I have found ever in academic circle, who is the patron and chief of this Kartavyam. And again, I am also, in fact, I have listened Mr. Arun Krishnamurthy, who is a renowned environmentalist, and Mr. D.C. Rana Sahab, a senior advocate and the former AG of the Jammu and Kashmir. And before that, the professor in charge, Dr. Professor Gunjan Gupta, and Professor Alka Chawla, in fact, who is the patron of this Kartavyam, has really, apprised us about the very aim and object and the very mission which is being carried out this lecture series. I'm thankful to Professor Alka Chawla and the Gunjan Gupta as well on this occasion, having interaction here too, and opportunity to hear uh, in this occasion. But more important that I must not forget Dr. Seema Singh, who is the program director of this, and I will say the chief architect of this initiative, who carried out the very vision of the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Delhi University on this kind of the program. And I also, in fact, welcome to the others, the faculty members who are connected to in this occasion. My dear students, a good evening to all of you on this platform. Today, in fact, having this opportunity to see. I am really delighted to speak on the very profound concept which I found from this interaction itself after listening the Arun Krishnamurti and D.C. Raina Sahab on the very important themes which are very contemporary, very relevant. Looking into that, this concept which needed to be bridges with the realm of the law and spirituality, as Rana Sahab has addressed the ethical values in our society, which can contribute in a greater way, which is the need of the hour in India, that is Bharat. Our that the shared responsibility on this kind of the interaction really making the whole planet that we must be activate ourselves in the name of this kartavyam, which is the essence of looking expectations from we the people of India to go ahead with and achieve the desirable objective with the constitutional spirit, which in fact I will say this term kartavyam, which is derived from this the Sanskrit language kartavyam, which embodies the very essence of the duty, not as a burden but as an inherent obligation that in fact indefinite, uh, the making the humanity to contribute in it. In the very the context of our environment, the Kartavyam urges us to act as a stewards of the earth, as a the mother earth in this context. And I in fact will try to explore this through the lens of the constitutional perspectives and the religious dictates, which highlighting how both that compel us to protect our fragile that ecosystems. Though the Arun has really given the kind of the emphasis a very important manner, as we in fact faces the escalating climate crisis around us in different parts of the country. We see that from the very melting glaciers, the effect to the vanishing of the forest that we have seen, we are witnessing these development, which are in fact in a very negatively changing the many things and affecting the our ecosystem. The wrath and the anger of our nature we are seeing now in the form of the cloud bursts, heavy rains, resulting into devastating floods. Very recently, uh, Rana Saab has also in fact highlighted the things looking to this, that how the Uttarakhand and the Punjab, they are facing the the very wrath of the nature. It is something that we must realize, because ultimately we are all the creatures of this nature, which is very beautiful, but we have made big damage to the nature, and therefore the anger is coming to all of us. A few, in fact, incidents are alarming situation, which understanding the role of the kartavyam, which is not just intellectual, it is imperative for the survival. Let us first turn to the very constitutional perspectives in our in India. Our constitution is not merely a legal document. It is a moral compass guiding citizens towards a very harmonious society. It is enshrined in the very part fourth of the Constitution, uh, and Article 51A, specifically expecting and emphasizing that the very fundamental duties, a set of obligations that every citizen must uphold. Among those provisions of the fundamental duties of the Constitution explicitly states, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment, which includes forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and heavy that the very have also the compassion to the creatures. This is the kartavya in its the modern legal form that the it introduces, in fact, by the very 42nd amendment into the constitution in the year 1976, that these fundamental duties were in fact inspired by the need to balance rights with the responsibilities, and especially in an era of rapid industrialization, and in the very recently the technological advancement that we see around us, in fact posing a big challenge to all of us to understand and do something in a positive way. Considering the very landmark judgment that have in fact breathed the life into the provisions of the constitution, in the very famous cases of MC Mehta versus Union of India 1987, which whereby the Supreme Court has invoked Article 51A to mandated the very closure of the polluting industries. Uh, in fact, at the same time, the very the popular monument, the near Taj Mahal, which was also in fact being polluted, uh, in that particular case, emphasizing the environmental protection is a very collective duty. That is the Supreme Court in fact emphasized, looking into the as the duty concept. Similarly, the very important case Velo Citizen Welfare Forum also in fact reminded me in 1996, which is reinforcing the very principle called polluters pay principles, which underscores the very kartavyam, which extends to and preventing the harm before it occurs. Globally, in fact, that constituting the very eco of the very sentiments of the country. These framework, if we look into, remind us that Kartavyam is not optional, it is enforceable, it is binding to us, and in the context of the sustainable principle, like reducing the carbon footprints, it is in fact conserving the water, and also looking into advocating for the green policies, which is a very important uh, in today's context. As a citizen, our duty is to vote for the eco-friendly governance and eco-friendly leaders who understand and look into the earth, the mother earth. In this context, that who in fact have the spirit of understanding and doing good for the nature, so that the survival of human being can be taken in the positive way, instead of facing the wrath of the nature that we see very unfortunately the things which are being experienced with uh, by the people in this country. Yet, in fact, the very Kartavyam transcends the legal boundaries. It is very deeply rooted in a very religious dictates as well, that have, in fact, shaped our human ethics, which I, in fact, found that Raina Saab has much focused on this ethic and its significance, and looking into that across that faith, the very environment it in fact views not as a resource to exploit, but as a the very divine trust. In If I see that under the Hindu jurisprudence, in the very ethos of Hinduism, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in fact, the cornerstone of the spiritual, the wisdom, which teaches the Kartavyam through the Lord Krishna, uh, that the in fact counsels to Arjuna, perform your the prescribed duties, for action is better than inaction. Under the chapter 3rd, verses 8 in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is very much mentioned there. And the very duty are the concept, the duty and the dharma, which includes the harmony with nature. The very Atharva Veda, which in fact the Prithvi Sukta prescribes and emphasizes the earth as a very nurturing mother. O earth, what treasures you hold, uh, may we partake wisely with this with the in fact destroying in the ancient text, like the very manuscript, the Manusmriti, which has prescribes the ahimsa, the non-violence towards all being, in fact, which is very extending to the very trees and the rivers, and also which are the very that the revered as the sacred. Therefore, the very festivals like the one Mahotsava, eco, and also looking to the very that promoting trees and worshipping trees, etc., which are part of that India's culture, and which is vanishing. That people are, in fact, with the time they are forgetting, and uh, with the very materialistic and mesmerizing the the development, which is in fact affecting the cultural values as well. If we look into in the Islamic point of view, the holy book of Quran, which in fact also in fact positions that humans as the vicegerents of all faith on the very earth. The Surah Al Baqarah also, in fact, entrusts us with the stewardship, while that in the very Hadith warns against the waste and even it is also in fact they of judgment that you will be questioned is very that human being, and also to have a very saplings in your land. In fact, if you are contributing and looking into the nature, the very concept of the mizan, which is a balance, which is sustainability of that whole environment, is a very important the principle in the Quran, who is expecting to the human being to behave and maintain a balance and prohibits the environmental degradation in any form, as seen in not only the Islamic principle of the sustainable development in the agriculture and the water conservation. Also, it has been emphasized in the Christianity and also in the Buddha, as the Renas have already touched this thing, and therefore I think that on ethical aspects, if we look into the Buddhism and the Jainism, further also amplifying the very that the crux of preserving the nature and protecting the environment with this principle of the interdependence, and the very Lord Buddha, who taught that all life is in fact interconnected, and humanizing the environment row bounds in fact on the very that the trust that we being that the trustee of the nature, and in fact looking into that the main minimizing the pollution and curbing the pollution. That is the message in the Jainism also. And these religious dictates, if you see of all religions, in fact covers on the very universal that view on the Kartavyam. That is a very important thing that we must not forget in our day-to-day life. As part of our culture, we must realize this thing, to live in the very symbiosis with the very nature, and they inspire the movements like that India's Chipko movement, Chipko Andolan. I think we must always keep in mind where the villagers hug the trees to prevent of the loggings and the in fact drawing from the very the Gandhian and the Vedic ideas uh, from the very time itself in weaving into the constitutional and the religious threads. We in fact see the Kartavyam as a very holistic call to action on the very environment laws, and which provides the very structure and the religious and the sole for making more effective of the system. Yet the challenges, as if you see, the very priests and also in fact talk about and looking into and expecting that the forestation must go on and the deforestation must stop, and the use of plastics and choking of the system, which has really been a big danger, as the Krishnamurti has referred in the Maharashtra case, that our ocean and its cleaning is initiative are being taken thereof. Certainly, we must appreciate such initiatives from wherever it is being done for preserving and protecting the environment and the curbing the pollution. The very that the issues that we see, which has really been a big threat for the many islands, and which is due to the continuous the pollution which is increasing, and the climate change has left us in a position that we must take the very instant and effective measures. Our duty demands innovations, adopting renewable energy, and also supporting the reinstatation and also educating the new youth, in fact, is the very important, which can bring big change into the entire system, into this our present ecosystem. As I, in fact, think that now conclude, remembering one of the Kartavyam is not for others, it is for ours only. Let us have a pledge today to fulfill it, and constitutionally, by upholding the laws, religiously, by honoring the very that creation of that this human being, the nature, which is needed to be preserved and protected by none the else but we the people as a whole, we the people of India as a whole, irrespective of any the division, irrespective of any caste, community, and religion. In the words of the Mahatma Gandhi, the the world has enough for everyone need, but not for the everyone greeds. Together, let us, in fact, to act for the betterment and the well-being of the Mother Earth. Uh, and with this, I will say thank you for the organizers for giving opportunity to me in this occasion. And I think thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights with us today. Your expertise and perspective have greatly enriched our understanding about our constitution, environment, and teachings of various religions regarding duties, that is Kartavya. And now, as we have come to the conclusion of this enlightening session, I take the privilege of inviting Yashraj Singh Bundela sir, advocate on record, Supreme Court of India, coordinator, knowledge collector, and knowledge partner of Kartavyam, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Prakriti. I hope I'm audible to everybody. Um, Namaskar to all. Today, some 7 months ago, our this journey of Kartavyam started, and now we have almost completed 13 lecture. I must congratulate the entire team in the Delhi University, the patron, and the people who have envisioned this entire concept of Kartavyam. Today, these 13 lecture do not only signify that it's mere a lecture series, but it's certainly a milestone and an an in, an and an initiative that inspire us to think, to act with law, with new perspective, keeping in mind not just duties, but fulfilling our, not just keeping in mind the rights, but fulfilling our duties that has been very core and fundamental to our entire our tradition in Bharat. Today, on the occasion of this 13th lecture of Kartavyam, I must express my deep regards towards Professor Alka Chawla ma'am, who is a patron to this Kartavyam program and who very well introduced us to the entire concept of Kartavyam and highlighted the importance of the Kartavyam for it not being just a lecture series but a movement in itself. It inspires us and it gives us a reason to think that change from rights to duties is mandatory and indispensable for our national growth to take the journey of our nation towards making its Vishwaguru. I express my deep regards and convey my thanks to Sri Arun Krishnamurti ji, who had enlightened us on the significance and the importance of the environment and how it has become even more important for us in today's time to 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 be watchful and to be dutiful towards environment in every aspect of our life, considering the dangers that we are witnessing, whether it's in Uttarakhand, Punjab, or in various other parts of the country. He highlighted the significance of not just going individually, but the the collective efforts that are required in our this journey of protecting our environment. He also highlighted the significance of sustainable economic progress. With all these enlightened thoughts, I express my deep regards to Sri Arun Krishnamurti ji. Today, we also had privilege of having with us DC Rena sir, with whom I had long association. I had occasion to work with him in so many matters, and have always been he has always been very kind in guiding us in all our work and duties. So he gave us a very enlightening lecture on the significance of ethics, which is very fundamental to the concept of duty, and he very elaborately explained us the very concept of ethics, and taking cue from various our sastras, taking the examples of Adi Shankaracharya, Madan Mishra, and the adjudication done by the Madan Mishra's wife herself in that Shastrarth. Then the he also highlighted and expressed the significance of discipline along with the duty in our journey for our Rashtra to make it once again great. He also highlighted that ethics are fundamental part and integral part of our civilized society. So once again, a very deep regards and my thanks to Professor to DC Rana sir. Last but not the least, Professor Gulam Yazdi sir, who um, who guided us today in his lecture on various aspects of Kartavyam expressed in various religious texts. He also highlighted and just carried forward the views expressed by Sri Arun Krishnamurti ji, and elated us and highlighted the various with various examples that a significant role played by the various part of our societies in demonstrating that if we take up the task of carrying forward not just with rights but with duties, many of the problems that our nations is facing today can be simply removed from what we are facing today. So I convey my deep regards to Professor Gulam Yazdi sir. Overall, it has been a wonderful journey. I had occasion to be part of this on behalf of a knowledge partner of this program, that is Kartavyam. Once again, I hope this journey of Kartavyam will continue for a long time to come, and it will give us new inspiration and way of new way of thinking and way of perceiving law with new perspective, so that we can move forward from understanding law from duty based concept to to the right based concept towards the duty concepts. Thank you very much. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Yashraj.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful and gracious words.
Just one. I'm really sorry, Prakriti. I forgot to express my to pay my regards to Gunjan ma'am, because when I joined, Gunjan ma'am had already concluded her lecture, so I didn't had occasion to to listen to what were her thoughts. But my deep regards for being part of this lecture series, and has always been enlightening us in this entire journey. Thank you so much, ma'am.
So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, we formally conclude Kartavyam Lecture 13. On behalf of Campus Law Center, I extend heartfelt thanks to our distinguished speakers, our respected faculty members, and all participants who joined us today. Your presence has truly made this session meaningful and memorable. Thank you once again, and we look forward to welcoming you in the upcoming lectures of this series. Wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Santanu?